Yes, sir. Chili Willy Cocoa Pops dropping knowledge straight from the tip top. How y'all doing, Mr. Ogunlana? Actually known as D-Ran Ogunlana. The time's now 11:29 p.m. Sunday, November 12th. So I did wake up this morning at 4 a.m. I actually got up. The alarm clock did a great job with blasting me out of my travels. Had some really interesting dreams, and which led into a very interesting day. Got up and moved around a bit. Then I laid it back down. Then I got up at a cool 10 o'clock, realizing that I do actually need to get some rest sometimes. Had the impetus to get out of the house today. Went down to the beautiful restaurant. That is the beautiful restaurant over there off of Cascade Road, where all the greats eat. And it was packed this morning. It was windy outside. It was a little drizzly, a little misty, but it was a lot of black folks in there, and we all huddled up around the table and shared smiles and laughs. And I realized how much food unites people. I mean, you had everybody from all walks of life in there, from the Christian ministers to the hustlers and everything in between. And it was no hate. It was all love. All you smelled was some macaroni and cheese, some yams, some people laughing, some loud talking. And it was all good. I felt love in there. And I realized food taught me something this morning, how it unites people. And then from there, I was so filled with love, I decided to go visit some family. And got loved on by some of my elders. And meanwhile, I was thinking about some business that I have, that I was needing to take care of, that I just finished not too long ago. Wrapped up an agreement to solidify a project that I have coming up soon. I am very excited about that. Tomorrow, I'm going to let the people who sent me that ball and chain of a contract know. I mean, I know I spoke about it on one of my other sessions, how I've fallen victim to the trap, so to speak, in these documents that I signed without reading them, without taking the time to understand what I was giving up as a result of the money. Because that's really, I'm sitting here thinking like, well, what was I actually thinking about? Like I was only thinking about the money, and that's why I got trapped. And so I'm definitely going to send them a cool N.O., like my grandma used to say when we used to come back and forth in the house in the summertime over there in Thomasville in Atlanta. Shouts out to my Grandma Reed, that's my dad's mom. She used to be like, N.O. Either y'all gonna go inside the house or y'all going outside the house. So I'm definitely coming in, and I'm not going to sign that contract. So moving right along. After I moved from there, I felt like the spirit kept moving me around today. and I found myself at at the place of a good friend over there off of Euclid Avenue, Little 5 Points. A nice cozy spot called Alibaba Mediterranean restaurant. There was a good friend of mine working there today, and he shared some good insight to how I can structure dreamthinkdesign.com. He actually gave me a lot of insight. One of the things that he was telling me was how I am going to structure the website in terms of the categories, because right now all of my posts are audio, but they're all, I call them Dreamcasts, because this is the soundtrack of my dream, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Cue the applause. And he was telling me about how I can structure my website, because all of these audio casts they all have different subject. Like today, I'm gonna get into some things, and that's gonna shape and polarize this cast and make it different from the other ones I've already started. And so he gave me some insight in how I can have maybe a horizontal menu that's kind of like a sticky menu that kind of has the categories in it, and maybe I'll put them on the left-hand side. And then he also talked about how I can get into the think part of dreamthinkdesign.com. And I like how this is actually coming together. I really do, because this kind of represents the dream part of the site, these casts. The design is going to be categorized by my portfolio and all the projects that I'm doing, and that's going to come to me how I'm going to illustrate that on the site in terms of technology and other projects. And then the think part, one way that I'm going to utilize the think part of the name is, he said, to have pictures, kind of take my phone and snap pictures or use images and drop maybe like 1 or 2 sentences about the photo, because some people say photos are worth 1,000 words. So if they're worth 1,000 words, then I only need to write about 50 of them. That's it. And I'm gonna use that, and that's gonna be, I'm gonna use that to make posts on certain social media like Instagram and Twitter. And so he gave me some nice insight, even on these Dreamcasts, and how, I'm actually these are gonna be evolving. And he gave me some ideas on how to evolve. He's a really good friend. I just want to just say I'm so grateful for the few good men, for the few good friends in my life. I have some real strong brothers in my life, and I want to and they know who they are, especially if they're listening to this right now. They know who they are, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you one more time. And I'm listening to 52 Mondays, another Vic Johnson production, and that talks about how to use 52 Mondays in a year to accomplish my goal. And so I'm reading that book, I'm listening to the audio, and that's prepared me, because I'm going to go back and read that again when I get ready, as I kind of start moving towards this $1 million year that I'm moving into. And today I did a couple things, and so I started off really good, and I just felt really good today, and I just really felt like spreading love today. And so the message is simple. This week is coming up, and it's coming up in the next 20 minutes. I've been doing a lot of these casts in the dead of the night, so to speak. Because my days have been, I've just been allowing myself to experience the now, so to speak, and I've been really enjoying myself. what I haven't done, and I'll go ahead and tell the truth and shame the devil, so to speak, is I haven't actually planned my week yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Just in terms of like my, because I want to utilize some of the structure I talked about on the previous tape. And so what I want to kind of get into this week, there are a few obligations that I have this week, especially I have at least 2 to 3 projects starting this week. And so I have a call tomorrow, and the initial project, probably 2 projects are going to start tomorrow, more than likely. And a old client came up. I know I mentioned them on the last cast, artya.com. They came back online. I guess in terms of when I say back online, I mean back in line, so to speak, in terms of my client base. And so what I do need to do is to look at the main priorities, some things that reoccur that I want to, for myself in the future, when I get it in that present time, that I can also continue to hold myself accountable to it, is taxes. That's something that's, it's just kind of, I think everybody just kind of has to kind of do it. And so I'm not excluded from that, at least at this point in my life. And so I definitely need to look at making that happen. I've been seeing a lot of billboards about, getting my teeth straight, I've been talking about the nice white teeth. I've been thinking about braces, and I've been thinking about going ahead and making that happen. And I just kind of been finding I saw another billboard, and I know where it is. I don't know where to go find it. I'm going to go find that number and make a call, because I think what I want to do this week is I actually want to go get a free consultation somewhere. Somebody just look at my grills and just tell me like flat how much it's going to run me, man, and just go ahead and just fix me up, man. That's one thing I want to do. One thing also that I wanted to do in the morning is to be consistent with my emotional, mental, spiritual, physical goals. One thing that I've been consistent with over time has been my physical goals, and that's and I want to congratulate myself for that, for being able to normalize my weight. Thank you for the applause. and one thing that I haven't done is plan my recreation time. So want to plan recreation this week. Want to definitely make sure I plan that. Want to plan recreation. I'm just going to start my schedule off on a very high level this week. I have my son full time, and I know what that means. It's at least 40 hours this week. And so what I would like to do is to utilize some of that time to be organizing, doing some obligations, and planning. So that's going to start tomorrow. And so that's one thing that I'd like to do, just pull something. And what I like to do when I get up in the morning after I do my power, either it's going to be a power hour or maybe 15 to 30 minutes, is to just go ahead and write down all of the tasks that I have to do, all of the tasks that I've been just kind of keeping in my mind, and just offload them on paper. And then tomorrow, what I like to do is, while I have my son, is definitely try to do some planning, some organized, especially obligations like boring things. Definitely get that out the way while I'm being cheered up by my son and his rambunctious little self. And so thinking of other things that I need to do, I also am. There are actually a couple of things that I need to do this week, but it is at the end of the night, so I am realizing that no matter what, this is gonna take an immense amount of energy, and I'm excited about it. One thing that I've been taking more time to do is look at women. And I've been looking at, like, I started looking at like some old school, on YouTube, just been looking at like how women used to look. Just in the 60s or 70s. I'm starting there, and then I'm gonna come all the way up to the 90s, 80s, 90s, and today, and really just kind of get them on my mind. So I'm gonna take time to do that this week, and think about how I want to decorate my house and how I want to go about decorating my house. So that's got that, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having some very intricate, nice artwork in here. That's one thing that I really, that's what I want. I want some things that's beautiful in here. Maybe some nice, beautiful pictures of women in here. Maybe some kind of artwork. I'm thinking about it. And just in terms of what I learned today that I'd like to share with the world is I've learned today that taking the time to eat, taking the time to love, and taking the time to release is very important. I started doing that yesterday by just relaxing as much as I could, just relaxing, decompressing, relaxing and decompressing, because this week I'd like to make some momentum. I know I've been talking about how do I plan my week, and so what I like to do tomorrow is to at least tomorrow during the day I kind of know what I need to do, and so I need to kind of maybe in the morning just look at planning out that day at least. I'm just going to start off with planning tomorrow in the morning. I just know, and I'm going to write some things down tonight, just a high level what I want to do tomorrow and start. That's what 52 Mondays was about, just starting off small. That was the first Monday, just starting off small, because he likened the goal as a gigantic stone being positioned precariously on the top of a mountain, and how if I get behind it and start pushing it and nudging it, and nudgingly, eventually it'll have enough momentum to reach the bottom of the mountain. So I'm just going to make I'm just going to push that stone a little bit further tomorrow. I'm just going to push the stone a little bit further tomorrow, because what I like to do is, like I said, have an overall view of how I'm going to spend my time, even if it's relaxing. I just, and so one thing I'm going to not do when I sit down and look at my schedule, I'm going to draft it out again, is to try not to be overly concerned with blocking off time at first and just think about tasks that I have on my mind. Also be thinking about my goals. I got to go back and review my goals. That's one thing I'm going to do tonight. And this is one thing that I actually suggest for myself in the future, and everybody who cares to do so, who's listening, is to review, if you don't already do so, your goals every night and every morning. If you haven't written a be, do, and having list, I seriously advise that you do that, because if you don't have a be, do, have list, then what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Zig Ziglar says you shouldn't be a wandering generality. And I agree with that. And if you don't have a be, do, have list, my friends, you are a wandering generality. And I no longer wish to be a wandering generality. And because I have a significant goal that I want to reach, and right now it still feels a little bit overwhelming, and that's okay, because it's worth it. It's worth it because my son is watching, my family is watching. I know I have some great things on the inside of me. I realize that how my life has changed for the better over these years. And I know that ultimately, if I continue to push in this direction, that I'm going to have a very big payoff. It sounds like James Brown, the big payback. That's what I'm looking for. Looking for that big payback, man. I think I might cue some James Brown at the beginning of this, because we looking for that big payback, man. And so yes, that's looking at the time, just to kind of have an understanding of Well, we're about at 20. So anything else I want to say? Like I said, I spent a lot of time relaxing this week, motivating myself. I listened to a lot of motivators this week. I've started up my next book. I got a couple more books queued up, and I got a couple things I want to do. I know I have I got some tasks on my mind that I need to go ahead and put on paper. I already know there are some recurring tasks that I need to do in terms of my spiritual, mental, emotional, physical life. So I need to go ahead and put that on paper. And then I have some huge obligations, some projects, some commitments, some things coming up that I want to put on paper. And I just need to go ahead and start. Tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and look at Trello. And to go ahead and set that up, look at ifttt.com and see how I can start orchestrating, and maybe I can start dictating tasks. Maybe even tonight in the morning, just start dictating tasks. Just maybe, a few second clips, or just spend some time, get that transcribed. I have to find maybe some kind of online transcription so I can get the text and just organize it. Just go ahead and just have a brain dump session, 5-10 minutes, maybe while I'm going to pick my son up. Just go ahead and have a brain dump session, man. Just go ahead and do it. Just do it, man. Because it's me. That's something that I got from Les Brown. It's me. Not only do I know that it's possible, not only do I know that it's necessary, not only do I know that it's worth it, but I know that it's me. And that, the only one that's actually going to push the rock down the hill, so to speak, is me. It would be nice to have others come around and support me. It would be nice that, if I have the resources and all that. But if none of that stuff is in play or quite like I like it, ultimately it's me. And so these things that I'm realizing that having a positive mental attitude is significant during this time, because I'm right at the point where I'm about to start making these small changes. Yesterday I I spoke a little bit about probably need to smoke. Anyway, yesterday I spoke a little bit about habits, interestingly enough. And how this week, and that was the second Monday, by the way, in that book, dealing with habits. And it's interesting that I kind of started reading that. One book I want to get into this week is The Power of the Habit, or I think it's called that. And I'm going to kind of start reading that book. I need to start bringing some books here. I've noticed that some books walked away from my house. So I got to start restocking my shelf. And yes, I feel one thing that I feel, and maybe I speak on this I'll just speak on it, that I am appreciative for every experience that I've had with women to date, because I know what I don't want. If I don't know anything else about a woman, or how I can be of service to her and her to me, and I know that I know the characteristics in a woman that I don't want. And that has given me the opportunity to see what I do need, which is, again, some very basic principles to life: faithfulness, loyalty, trustworthiness, patience. These are some of the things that I definitely need. Not just in a woman that I'd like to be intimate with, but in women in my life in general. Not just women, in men too. We can't, excuse me. And so in this particular junction in my life, I am attracting that kind of person, these kinds of people in my life, because I'm working on these principles in myself. I'm realizing that the one that caused all of that attracted women, men in general, who were the opposite, was because my character wasn't up to par. And so I have been getting tested and tried and taken through the forge of life, so to speak, and being transformed into a person that has a basis on these principles, and realizing how much of a necessity they are. That the basis of my manhood has to be truth. It has to be. It's got to be truth. I have to be the embodiment of that, which is the first level of the first, or the foundation of building good character. And I haven't actually spoke at all about character in any of these casts, because maybe today it just had to come organically. But character has become huge to me in my life. I think it's even spiritual to me, because I realized that it is something that we all have, but for whatever reason, we forget from time to time. And, just like a person forgets about the greatness that's inside of them, that we forget that these principles are baked into life itself. I like that word, baked in. I get that word. I get that word from a colleague. Well, I had a colleague who used to say that all the time. Yeah, anytime he used to talk about technology, he used to be like, well, we could do this because it's baked in, Sound like a nice pie or something like that. But anyway, man, I'm realizing that these principles are baked in life itself, in the universe itself. But because of our environment and its toxicity, it has been burned away, and the small traces that exist are so insignificant that it requires a large amount of energy to bring forth these things in our life. And this is why I think life is such that it is, because no matter where we go, no matter where I find myself, even if I don't realize that it is truth that is going to set me aside from everyone else, that it is fortitude that is going to open the path, so to speak, for me to in order for me to have my success, that it is uprightness and patience that gives me the persistence and confidence that I need in times where self-doubt and anxiety and paranoia run amok in our society, and even in my own mind. It is that these principles that they give me all of the energy that I need to hold on and to persist to this vision, this deep inner vision of who I am and where I come from, so that I don't subscribe to just meaningless things in life and be distracted from what I know I should be doing. Because once again, it's not who sees me in public, it's what I do and who doesn't see me, and how I carry myself in private that matters most. And so just knowing these things that I'm spending time developing, and I've been spending a lot of time, I've been spending these last couple years of my life really focusing in on these principles. Really focusing in on these principles. I want to give thanks to all of my ancestors for everything that they've done for me and everything they continue to give me, and and the foundation that they've given me, so that I can realize that it's these principles that make me different, that set me apart, that give me the reason to hold my head up high and not be overly melancholy or depressed, or when life tries to give me an opportunity brilliantly disguised as an obstacle. So I just wanted to take a couple moments and spend this time just kind of talking about a couple things, because just like all of these casts, I know when I speak about my dream, it's so much on my mind that I tend to bounce from task or topic to topic. But I at least wanted to take a moment and really reach out to myself in the future and say I love you, and say I give thanks to you, and I give thanks to all that listen. I hope it is my hope that my life can be an inspiration to somebody out there listening, and information to a hater out there who, you know, and I do want to share this with you, that if you find yourself at any point in this new day with your head hung low, do this one thing that my father told me anytime he caught me in that similar position. And that is to raise your head. You have much to be grateful for. You have much to be thankful for. You have greatness within you. Until the next time we speak.